All right, another install slash tutorial video for you. Check it out. If you are lucky enough to have a shaker, you can do something cool like this for under $30. And the other exciting part about this is that in addition to these LEDs, here comes with a remote so you can change it between colors. You can have it flash, strobe, fade, etc. It makes a really nice effect. You know, at night, car shows, mine comes on with my headlights. So I wired into my headlight wiring harness, which I will show you, of course. And then I have a really other cool trick that I learned the hard way, how to be able to change the color of the lights with the remote control without opening your hood. So I will come back to that soon and show you how all that goes. And again, super cheap. O'Reilly's, link in the description, show you where to get these. Okay, so before we get going, this is what this looks like, right? So you see here, they are just 6 individual LEDs here, and they are currently stuck 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right, on the underside of this shaker right here. Okay, so very simple. You want to take the shaker off. You've got these here, 1, 2, 3, 4, right, and the shaker lifts right off upside down, and you can stick them there. Right, what you'll notice here is, as we get back a little bit further, right, we've got some of these taped up. It just does get a little bit easier if you've got them taped up. Instead of, you don't have 6 loose wires, you can bundle them together, 3 and 3, and then 2 and 2 down into 1 as you go. So much easier. I also took the liberty of removing the radiator support here, so we have a little bit more room. If you really want to save yourself some trouble and some headache here, I suggest doing a couple of things here. Take your air filter out, remove the lower air box. It's really, really simple, right? Just loosen up the clamp here, twist this counterclockwise. This tube will pop out. The air filter leans up and you can pull it off. This here, right? You can unscrew here. This should be the same 10 millimeter, I believe, that you use for these shaker. Maybe not. It's probably actually a little bit bigger. Maybe not. I think it's the same 10 millimeter. So if you have a shaker, obviously if you're doing this, the shaker tool will work here. Right, and once you do that, you can lift this whole air box up, and it gives you really good access to the wiring harness that is down right there. That's what you're looking at down there. Right, otherwise you've got to kind of smash your hand in between here, and it does not do your wrists any favors. So what does the path look like on this, right? We have the 6, like as I told you, here, right? It comes in, goes down into the hole here, right? And follows this tube into your air box. You can see there are the wires right there. I have them going underneath the air filter. You can run them around, whatever. I like them out of the way, so they go under the air filter and they pop out the front hole. Now, here's a caveat. If you have done the Hellcat tube into the air box, this is not going to work exactly the same way. I do plan to add that tube, and once I do, I'll show you how to go about it. But in the meantime, you need to not have the tube for this to work exactly the way I'm telling you. So underneath here, we come out the hole in the air box and we wire into here. Now, what I will do is, I can't really show you very well here, but perhaps we can see on the far side there, you might be able to see some black electrical tape there and on the other side. And that's where I spliced those in. If you saw my video on the EL wire, it's the same thing. I didn't clip these 2 wires in half. Right, I just took a stripper on there and just removed some of the sheathing, pulled it back about 1/8 of an inch or so, leaving exposed copper, and then the wire from the LEDs wraps around it, tapes it up. Now, if you want to make sure you're doing it the right way, something that you can really do very easily, and I will give you a link to the wiring harness so you know where the pinouts are, and I'll try to get a picture of me doing the testing. I think I have one. But basically, I unclipped the wiring harness, and then I took the 2 ends of the wires coming from the LED kit and just stuck them into the wiring harness holes. If the shaker lights light up, you're in the right spot. You can see, I think it's pin 2 and pin 7, if I remember that correctly. And if it lights up, then you know red and black go into which pinouts, and from there you can then tape them together and do that. Now, there's one last trick here to this. When I first did this, I had the IR receiver for the remote control right here. That means the only way to change these lights is to pop open the hood and lean on here, which is awkward, it's annoying, and you know, looks a little bit ridiculous and cheap. I want to be able to do it with this, with my hood closed, and change those lights. So I removed the back cap, even though I don't have the Hellcat tube. You'll notice that I have no cap on the back of the headlights, unlike this one, where you can see, if you can get there, there you go. You can see the black cap on the back of that one, because that's useless. This one doesn't have it. So now I have a straight shot through the tube, and see, and you can see my air filter in there, and just to the right of it is a little IR receiver. So that's it. So I mounted the infrared receiver right there on the outside of the airbox. There's a trick though. No tape will stick to this textured plastic. None. The inside, right, alcohol pad, you wipe that down, you get it nice and clean, it'll stick there for 100 years. On this outside, it will not stick. So how did I make that stick? You can see I did a test spot here. See that? Sandpaper. So I took some light grit sandpaper, sanded this down so it's flat, got that nice and flat, cleaned it up real good to make sure there was no shavings on it, hit it with an alcohol pad. That's always a trick to make things sticking. Did that. Last piece is a piece of Gorilla Glue tape that you can see wraps around. So the Gorilla Glue tape goes on the inside and wraps around to the outside. That way the weight of the IR receiver is not just pulling on one square. It wraps around, takes the tension off of here, right, and holds in there nice. So I can now take the remote control from here and zap it right through the intake tube and change the colors. This is why I told you with the Hellcat tube this won't work, is because the Hellcat tube sits flush against here, which means you have no way to get the wire out without crushing the wire. But should be able to notch that out, and when I do the Hellcat tube, I'll see how that works. But really that's it. It's that simple. Attach it here, just drop these wires in. You can reach in here very easily and pull them out, under here and out here, and wire it right in just like you see it there. Okay? And if you want to have that extra ability, do what I said. Make sure you get this nice and smooth, as close to something like this as you can. That's the whole thing. You do that, you'll get those. And by wiring to the headlight wiring harness, right, you can tell that when the lights come on is when this comes on. They're not on all the time. And that's it. Very cool effect. It's about 20 something bucks. I got it from O'Reilly's, and a link is in the description, so give it a look and see. Let me know what you think.